Disclosure Day. This is a spoiler review. I do have a review up on soundofbettermyhead.com. That's spoiler free, so if you want to check that out instead of this or before this or whatever. I am giving this a 2.5 out of 5. I was flirting with giving it a 3, but I think there's just too many breakdowns in the just overall plot structure and just kind of like the pacing, and the ending was just kind of weak for what they were setting up for. I think with a better ending, this could have easily gone up a lot. It could have even gone up like a 3.5 maybe if it was a really good enough ending. The plot itself, it's got a vague Close Encounters element where these characters kind of like almost got like special powers and they're trying to like get to the aliens basically, and that's the most that they got in common. There's essentially two stories running side by side. You have Daniel's story, which is okay. It's like it's never as engaging as the other stuff. It's just more of like a little bit more down to earth, kind of like a spy espionage kind of thing going on the run from the government. But every time we cut to Margaret's story, it's so much more interesting. Like every aspect of her story, because it's got the more supernatural element to it, it's really got more of the mystery to it. It's like really pushing towards something. And then you cut back to Daniel's stuff, it's like, okay, that stuff was more interesting on the other end. And then, of course, the stories do eventually come together, and you think that's where the things would pick up. Like, okay, with these two stories that can connect, this is gonna drive the movie home. But it just kind of fizzles out a couple times. Like, all right, now we're gonna get going. Okay, well, first we got to do this. Like, all right, this is gonna go into the ending. Okay, not quite yet. Okay, now we're there, and okay, now I guess it's done. What makes this movie work so well is the acting. Emily Blunt just crushes it the entire movie. Like everything she does is like amazing. She's got just a range of emotions she's got to display. There's some pretty long cuts where she's got to speak different languages and like even doing the alien like language. It's like it's pretty impressive. And I think her character has a more interesting journey overall. I mean, the acting is solid across the board. There's even like this little point where she's using her powers on people, and you're not even really seeing what she's doing, but just the other actor's reaction to it, like, sells it. Like you don't know what she saw, what she says, or whatever, but the other actor is able to sell it with their facial expressions. There's a lot of little moments like, damn, that could kind of convey a lot of information without hearing anything. Even the reporter at the end, that's the main reporter broadcasting, talking about the Disclosure Day footage. She does a good job of getting choked up and being just blown away by the footage that she's watching, and it kind of really helps sell all this mediocre footage, because a lot of it just looks like it's supposed to be real alien footage, but it's clear like a lot of it's just like Hollywood CG. I mean, I know in movie people are like, no, it's real, but in reality I'm like, yeah, I could see that's CG. Like, it wasn't even convincing me, but I know it's nitpicking. Also, Colman Domingo's character, Hugo, he sets up to be pretty important, and he is, but they never really get too much into, like, what he's, I don't know, like, apparently he somehow talked to one of the aliens, or he arranged this with the one alien. It's real vague what happened. I thought for sure, okay, we're going to get back to what his plan was with the alien, and you never really do. I mean, he explains why he does what he does, but it just doesn't go anywhere. But like, interesting. I thought Janet was this kind of mediocre character. So like her only real purpose was to bring in the debate, like, could humanity handle finding out aliens are real, and especially just regard the religion. And she just assumes that her aliens showed up, everyone would be like, these are gods. Like, I don't understand her logic. And then she talks to like the nun for like 2 minutes, and the nun's like, nah, it's all good. So then it's all good. It's just it sets up an interesting debate, and it just doesn't really pay it off in any real way. Before I move on, a couple of other things about the plot. The other character I want to mention are your bad guys. Your main bad guy, I don't know. I love Colin Firth as an actor, he's really good in everything I've seen him in. But here, it's just the character's just like, I don't know, he's not really menacing. He's just a dude. Like, he doesn't have anything except for the fact he's chasing the good guys. He's just bland. And you kind of hope they're going to get into his backstory, his motivations. They really don't. Like, they just don't do anything with him. Or, like, his wife apparently died at some point, but then he became like a jackass after that. But they don't really they just don't do much with it. And then at the end, I guess he just gives up. He's like, all right, I give up. And then his main assistant, whatever the reason, he's like buck wild, like trying to run people on the train and gun them down, and like shocked at the end he didn't just take a shot at, just shoot at them before they could do the broadcast and call it a day. And like he just storms off or something. I don't know why he was so hardcore, and he didn't seem like he was affected by the powers. I don't know. It's because was he the one that touched the crystal, and maybe that did something? I don't know. They didn't really explain that too well. Like what made him such a fucking asshole? Like willing, like I said, just to kill everybody that gets in, that's going to expose the truth. Another plot element I was about to touch on is apparently World War III is about to go down, but you could have completely taken that out of the movie and it would not made a single difference. It's like it comes up here and there. One scene you see people at a gas station like kind of like hoarding supplies, and then it's basically at the end, oh yeah, well the war I guess stopped because everybody's watching this alien footage. Like whatever problems they had, I guess just went away because aliens are real now, and the U.S. government's been covering up since the 40s. So it was kind of vague. And then of course you're supposed to try to stick the landing. You got this alien pop up at the end. He whispers something to Daniel. Which another thing about Daniel's powers are so weak. It's like, okay, we gave you these special powers. Like the only thing we can really do with it is understand alien talk, which is only going to happen like 2 or 3 times in your life. And the other set of powers, like you read minds, basically. You could experience things that another person's experience. You could speak different languages. Like she got like a whole ton of stuff she could do. And he's like, oh, I don't know. I understand the alien clicking. That's my power. I wish they would have did more with his power. But anyways, the alien whispers something to him, and he translates it, and we're ready to hear what this big game-changing speech is going to be, because he said there is this war going on. I don't think, in my opinion, what happened so far wasn't quite enough to end the war. And then, of course, the movie just stops. Like, it's like, well, okay, I don't think it's almost like Spielberg's like, well, we don't know what you could say that would end all the bad shit going on in the world, so we're not going to say it. We can't come up with anything that interesting. The movie itself is, of course, obviously well directed. There is a lot of really cool long takes. Oneers, as you call them, is in the industry these days. The CGI is not that great. It's not like that looks bad. It just looks like that it's CGI. Particularly the animals, like the cardinals show up. The deer, whatever it was. The aliens themselves. I was a little disappointed with the alien design. They just went with the classic gray alien and like very simple like spacesuits. Like nothing that stands out at all. It's just kind of like you went with, what, all those rumors you hear about aliens are true, and we're just gonna refine the looks of everything in their ships just a little bit. We're not gonna like reinvent the wheel. All this shit's true. So it's not a new alien. These are aliens we've always known about in the rumors. And it's like the aliens present as animals. Like, do they turn into birds and fly up to you and activate these people? Are they really turning into these animals? Like, how many aliens are out there? Like, the only one we saw was the one at the end, who I guess was the ringleader of this Disclosure Day thing. I don't know. It was kind of weird. There was a couple action sequences. Obviously, the best one was the car on the train. But I don't know. This is a weird point in the movie where it's like, these two characters got to make it from this point and make it to the end. So it felt like there's no real danger. It's like, they got to survive. They got to get to do this, the Disclosure Day. And the weird setup that they were secretly building a recreation of Margaret's house the whole time was just not that big of a reveal. It's like, okay, they're building something, some kind of set. Like, this should be interesting. And it's like, your childhood home. I was like, I understand the movie logic for it, but as far as like the big reveal, it was kind of like, that's underwhelming. I think that's all the big points I wanted to make about the movie. It was a decent watch. I think it was a little too long. I think it's closer to 2.5 hours. Like I said, I thought the Margaret story was way more interesting than the Daniel story, and I don't think it picked up the way it should have when they came together. I thought there was some decent amount of plot holes that just kind of like didn't help push the narrative forward, and kind of killed the mystery. And then I said, if you would have had a really good payoff to all that, I think all would be more forgiven. And I don't think that they did. As it just kind of ended. Other than that, I said I do have the spoiler free version of this review up. I also got other movie reviews. I got TV show reviews. All that. Oh, I got a comic strip I do. That's all at soundofbettermyhead.com. So if you want to check any of that stuff out, that's awesome. And thanks for watching.